Welcome back to the capsON Sports Podcast. I am your host for the second week in a row. I'm Anthony Manno, joined this week by Tyler Blumenstick, Nicholas Tobias with the Shades, and Sam Meehan. Fellas, how are we doing?
Stick, why are you giving him a
well.
round of applause? I mean,
because he won 2 weeks in a row, and I'm 7-13.
Yeah.
I'm in no place to talk about anything other than applaud the winners, and that's about it.
that's true. That's true. All right.
Pretty much it. That's it.
It's a new
Man,
week, though.
what are we starting out with here, man? Are we going to start from the top? Are we going to run a Thursday game this week?
Yeah.
Can we run through the
first
records
game.
real quick first for everybody?
Yeah,
They're kinda
for
ugly, but-
sure. All right, so through week 4, Tyler, you are 7 wins, 13 losses for a 35% win percentage. 35%
not really like-
win percentage.
It's not awful. I could have a good week, and I'm right back in it.
Yeah, you could. Or you could have a bad week like you have been having and be right back down in the
They
dumps.
haven't been bad. It was 1-4, 2-3,
Pretty bad.
2-3,
bad.
2-3.
That's bad.
I'm hovering around even. We picked 5 games. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we're getting a little late in the season now for you to
Late in the
Keep
season.
little-
keep
keep on that
five.
trend.
A little late in the season. We're 4
a little
games
late.
in.
A little late in the
got a
season.
whole
You want to
extra
build
game this
you want to
year.
build yourself a cushion though. You don't want to be
What
scrounging.
do you think
up
I'm
for
trying to
wins.
do? You think I try to go 7-13?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Stick as a talent of yours going 7-13. Proud of
Bro, I
you.
don't know
I'm
what
pretty
I don't know
talented.
what
I
you do with your
succeeded.
money.
All right. Who's in third? Am I in third or is Sammy in third?
So yes, no, Sam is in. Oh no. Okay, I see what you're saying. Nick, you are in third place with a record of 8 wins, 11 losses, and 1 push for a 40-win percentage.
I mean,
Not bad. Better than Stick.
listen, I'm not going to lie. My picks on this podcast are way worse than what I actually put on for the whole entire week.
Likely
You
story.
should try not doing that.
All right.
You should consider picking
you know
winners
what?
on this.
follow my Action Network if you don't believe me, because now Stick's gonna make me
Humble plug.
check.
Humble plug. All right, well, you check. Sam is a whopping 9 wins, 11 losses, and no pushes for a 45% win percentage. Better than the both of them.
I want to like really look back at some of these results. Yeah, I got a couple bad beats in there, but whatever.
It's tough. It's
tough
hard
out
on
here.
these streets. And I am crown champion thus far with 12 wins, 7 losses, and 1 push for a 60% win percentage. The push annoys me, man. I'd rather that be a win, but
That's not
I
the
get my
Chicago
money
game,
back. That's
isn't
okay.
it?
I
I'm pretty
think
sure
so.
it's the
If-
Chicago Bengals game.
you're telling me it's the
when it was
Chicago
Bengals plus
game,
3.
If you're telling me it's the Chicago game and you also have a push, then I'm inclined to believe that it is also the Chicago game.
Yeah, because I think you and me both took Cincinnati plus 3, and they lost.
No, you're
by
on
a-
opposite sides.
Yeah, that either way, it's
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
both push.
Yeah, it was week 2.
Either way.
All right. Either way, listen. This is the week where the boys in the bottom half bounce back. So Stick, you and me right here, buddy. The bottom half.
Yeah, no better way to get it kicked off. We got a Thursday night football game. Should be
Yes,
a good
sir.
one. We have the Seahawks playing host to the Rams. The spread right now is Rams minus 2.5. The total is 54.5. Stick, you have a pick on the Rams. Talk 30 to me.
Let's
go,
Stick.
so-
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm a big fan of the Rams this year. I have them at like plus 205 to win the West. Took that preseason. Then I haven't placed a bet yet, but I've been monitoring it. I do like them to win the Super Bowl. I feel like they have a solid little recipe there. They have the coaching staff, they have an offense, and they have a defense. Pretty much the 3 pillars you need to be a good football team. But no, as far as Thursday goes, Thursday night, 8:20 p.m. It's a short week for both of these teams. Seahawks just got a win though against Minnesota. Was it Minnesota? No. Cleveland
San
beat Minnesota.
Francisco.
San Francisco. And the Rams lost first game of the year. And that's why I like them. Especially on a short week. You have the good coaching staff with Sean McVay. You have a short week coming off a loss against a good team. I think that it's just all business for the Rams this week. Seahawks have a pretty Swiss cheese defense. So I like the Rams and Matt Stafford to really get going. I'm starting Matt Stafford in fantasy this week. He's going to shred the Seahawks defense. Cooper Kupp's going to have probably like 8 for 130, maybe a touchdown or 2. But yeah, also like the over in this game. I think the Seahawks are going to put points up. I think the Rams are definitely going to put points up. But yeah, Rams minus 2.5. I think laying less than a field goal on the road is pretty solid.
I mean, I'm going to echo this because I had this game sitting in the queue for a long time. I have LA actually -3 because I bought up a whole ass point because I was -2. I bought up a whole point. I got a -3 at +110 off of BetMGM a couple days ago. The only reason I didn't have this as an official pick is because I think the line is very weird. I don't know why it's only 2.5. I mean, I get both teams are playing on a short week, and I guess you give home field a little bit more of a juice when you're Seattle. But LA's pretty good. And, Stick, you highlighted almost like how you were thinking about debating taking them to win Super Bowl. I took them to win the Super Bowl at +840 because I figure the value can only go up from there.
Yeah.
I mean, LA is clearly the better team. LA has the better overall team offensively and defensively. I think it's an easy -2.5, but that's why I'm skeptical. I took them -3, so I'm going to take LA here, but it's not an official pick for me. But I just want to echo everything you said. I think LA is clearly the better team here, and I don't really know why the spread is the way it is.
So I think if both teams are on a normal week, non-normal rest, and this game is in LA, I bet this line is probably 5.5, 6 in favor of LA.
I think it's at least 7. I think it's at least 7 because I think LA's defense is going to wreak havoc on Russell Wilson. You see what the San Francisco 49ers did last week. And granted, San Francisco's defense kind of took a step back. Their pass rush is the same as it was last year. If the 49ers defense can get a pass rush, do you think LA can get a pass rush with Aaron Donald and everybody? Okay, sorry, I'll go on. Forget it.
No, I agree with you. And Seattle's offensive line is just porous. It's not good.
Death taxes and a crappy Seattle offensive line.
Yeah.
The fact that they're home here is a little bit scary. I know they're like dominant at home. They're 0-1 this year, and they got kind of trounced by who'd they play? They played.
I know they played Minnesota on the road, but I mean home field.
It was Tennessee.
It was Tennessee.
Yes, they lost Tennessee. They lost to Tennessee.
I mean, personally, I'm more concerned about a divisional game here than a home field game for Seattle. I think because it's a divisional game, that's probably why it's 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, solid Thursday game. Next thing we got across the pond, if you will, is Sunday, 9:30 in the morning, bright and early. We got the Jets, because who doesn't want to wake up to watch the Jets?
This is a London game. I'm sorry, I forgot this is a London game.
9:30. Yeah, so it's 9:30 in the morning. Who doesn't want to wake up and watch Jets Falcons on a Sunday morning at 9:30? The spread here is Atlanta -3. The total here is 46. I'm the only one with a pick on it. I'm taking Atlanta. There's been some rumblings in Atlanta that Matt Ryan is not happy, and he came out, I think today or maybe it was yesterday, and said those reports are just basically like not true, right? So as a result of that, I'm going to take Atlanta because I feel like now they got something to prove, right? They're going to London. Their name was besmirched as they are on the plane going over there or at the practice facility, wherever they were. Now Matt Ryan and that team and Arthur Smith are going to be like, all right, let's get a good game plan. The Jets are coming off a really good win against Tennessee where they took that game to overtime, and it came down to a missed field goal by Reggie Bullock. So, or not Reggie Bullock, it's Randy Bullock, wrong sport. But I think for this line to be -3 is more of an insult to the Falcons than a compliment to the Jets. I don't think they'll be able to hold Atlanta's offense back a little bit. The defense is a little bit more concerning, but Atlanta's starting to get into a little bit of an offensive rhythm. I think they'll be able to exploit the Jets here in London.
I'm going to echo Manno real quick. I have Atlanta winning by at least a touchdown here. So I think the only reason it's -3 is because it's neutral. It's a neutral field in London and no one really knows what's going on. Just performed last week against the Titans, but the Titans really don't have a defense. So I don't really care about that.
Cool. All right. So next game we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I don't know if you guys have seen, but they're not good. They are hosting the Denver Broncos, who are at least a solid team. The line here is Pittsburgh -1, and the total is 39.5. This kind of surprises me. Nick, you're the only one with a pick on it, though. Tell me why.
Listen, the only thing the Pittsburgh Steelers have going for them is their defense. Personally, I've completely given up on Ben Roethlisberger, and their offense as a whole. I mean, just getting 17 points last week against a very a subpar Green Bay defense was a struggle for them. Big Ben doesn't seem like he can make a throw past 3 yards over the line of scrimmage. Najee Harris is clearly a workhorse who deserves, more touches, more good looks, and they're just not giving it to him. I don't think the change of quarterback or possible change, because I think as of today, as of Wednesday at 7:05, I believe Teddy Bridgewater is still in the concussion protocol. So Drew Lock is taking off first team snaps. I don't really personally see a difference in the Denver Broncos offense. I actually think it kind of improves, especially in the passing game, especially, the mid to long field passing game. I think Drew Lock is a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater, even though Teddy Bridgewater is having a good year. That's besides the point. Denver, I think, is a better all-around team than Pittsburgh.
You said Drew Lock was a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater.
Yes, I
would like to know if you have ever watched Drew Lock play football before.
I have watched Drew Lock play football before, and granted, he throws more interceptions. I think he gives them more of a chance to win. Teddy Bridgewater is going to throw a 5-yard pass. I don't know. It don't matter. Give me Denver +1. I'm going to leave it at that. I think they win this game by at least 6 points. So you give me +1 on the road. I don't think Heinz Field means anything to a really bad Pittsburgh team who can't figure it out offensively. Because what is it? It's going to be 14-20. I mean, that's what this game is going to be awful. It's going to be a low scoring game. I mean, I would contemplate taking the under, but just give me Denver +1 on the road. +1.5 is what I have, but I'll take +1.
You're always shaving points over there.
Yeah.
Every week with this guy.
Again, this is why you grab lines early, because when stuff happens like this and I'm shaving points, it's just because I'm sifting through lines early in the week. It's not my fault. That's your fault for not sifting through lines early in the week.
Little do you know, Nick, these are mostly opening lines.
Okay, well, I don't use an offshore bookie.
Sure. Ooh. All right. What do we got?
Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings playing host to the Detroit Lions. The line here is Minnesota -7.5, and the total here is 49. Nobody's got a pick on this one, but does anybody have any thoughts right off the rip? Give me a quick hitter.
Stick, go ahead, because I want to. I got one thing.
There are a couple of things freaking me out about this. One, the fact that it's a half point above 7.5 for Minnesota. Then the other part of it is the fact that the Detroit Lions are a backdoor cover scare machine. They've done it like 2-3 weeks in a row at this point. They actually did backdoor cover 2 weeks ago and did not last week. And the Vikings just only scored 7 points against the Cleveland defense that has been in shootouts for the last 2-3 years, ever since they've been building their offense. So yeah, I just don't want to touch it. Pretty much it. Don't know what either of these teams truly are.
TJ Hawkinson and Penei Sewell mispractice with a knee and ankle injury, respectively. DeAndre Swift was limited with a groin injury, and Jamal Williams was limited with a hip injury. So we can monitor those as we go on.
I mean, I think it's early in the practice week to really think too much into these injuries or limited in practice, but it is something to note that Detroit had 3 turnovers in the red zone last week against the Chicago Bears, which is a heavy factor as to why they weren't in the game last week. You figure you only turn the ball over once in the red zone. That game's probably a lot closer than it was supposed to be. I really want to take Detroit +7.5 because I don't know. I'm on Detroit all year, and I really don't know why. And I feel like every week I'm saying I want to bet Detroit, and this is the 5th week in a row that I'm saying I want to bet Detroit, but I'm just not going to do it this week.
Just every year you find a dog shit team to like get attached to all season, like Jacksonville last year.
It was Jacksonville last year, and it's Detroit this year.
Miami,
it's true.
They weren't bad.
Miami?
I was on Miami a couple. Yep. That's facts. All right, so
they
I guess
turned out to be
like
good though.
Miami's not good.
They were last year though.
Yeah, they were a cover machine last year. This year they're awful.
Yeah, I mean, two is a bust. What do you say?
Okay, next. 2 is a bust.
Sam, you got nothing on Minnesota and Detroit?
This game's gonna suck. I don't want to touch it.
which is exactly why
all
you
right,
should take
I got it.
Detroit.
All right. Over under 6.5 times they show this game. They show Minnesota and Detroit on Red Zone.
I mean, like,
Gotta get in the red zone for that,
49
don't you?
is really high.
I think they're gonna get like 7 or 8 times, but it's not gonna be good. It's gonna be the center snap like prematurely snapping it again into Jared Goff's chest, stuff like that.
I mean, I think
And they show
Minnesota's
it. Scott
defense
Hansen
is,
cuts away.
yeah, Minnesota's defense is bad. I think Cleveland ran a really bad play scheme last week against them, which is why they only scored 14 points. But that's besides the point.
Win's a win.
A win's a win.
Yeah, that's true. All right, next up we have wow, I almost just skipped like half the board. Geez. We have the Bengals hosting the Green Bay Packers. And the line here is Green Bay -3. The total is 50.5. Stick, you and I have picks on this one. And spoiler alert, they're both for Green Bay. I think I have a pretty good solid reason why, and I'm guessing we're on the same page here. But I mean, Aaron, it's the Packers who have looked like one of the best teams in football, and the Bengals who maybe didn't sneak away a win against the Jaguars, but they didn't blow them out of the water by any means. I think the Bengals are a little overhyped here at home against the Packers, but do you have something different?
No, I mean, not entirely different. I just feel like this line is super fishy. I actually took the opening line of Green Bay -3.5 at even money on my site. I think 2 days ago, like when it first came out, but now the line is down to 3. I mean, I know it was already kind of leaning that way because I got even money on the 3.5, but like you look at these two teams, you have Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, like you mentioned, and the offense that they have and the confidence and the experience. T. Higgins should be back for Cincinnati. Joe Burrow looks like he's coming into his own. Jamar Chase has scored a touchdown pretty much every week, it seems. Tyler Boyd is as solid of a slot guy as you want, but I don't know. I just feel like Green Bay is miles ahead, and this line is really, really, really fishy. I could see a Green Bay blowout. I could see a close game, but I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to allow this game to be down to the wire at the end. Like, it's just not going to happen. It just won't simply happen.
I just feel like this line is – I'm looking at this line the same way I'm looking at the Thursday night, the LA at Seattle line. Like, why is it all –
night and day, Nick. It's night and day. Those are two, like, decent teams.
I don't think it's night and day. I think it's – I mean, I think the public is going to – loves Cincinnati as home dogs, giving them a field goal. And Cincinnati's kind of overperformed this year. I think Joe Burrow has looked a lot better than most people thought. They did barely squeak out last week on Thursday. Do you think do you really think an extended week for Cincinnati is really going to mean an extra, maybe 4 points at home? I don't think so. I have Green Bay -3 that I already took in the bank account, but it's not an official pick, but that's just because it's fishy.
So quickly before we move on, I'm just going to chime in here, or before somebody else chimes in. We've been going after Denver for going 3-0 versus the Jets, the Giants, and I believe the Jaguars. Now you look at Cincinnati's schedule. They've beaten the Jaguars, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and lost to Chicago. So none of those teams are impressive whatsoever. That's a
great point
about Minnesota, but yeah, close game against bad teams.
And Nick, you said you're thinking the public's going to love Cincy. 81% of the bets are on Green Bay.
Yeah, because the public –
according to action, at least.
They're smart.
That's kind of scary then.
Yeah, if I were to describe the public, I wouldn't say smart. So
that's true. I'm definitely not a smart individual. I'm wearing sunglasses inside.
Vegas knows something. There are shenanigans afoot.
All right, everybody hands off.
Sketchy line.
Joe Mixon could be out too, for all we know.
That's true. He could be. Jair Alexander is also out for the Packers, so something to monitor. They're the favorite to land Jalen Smith, I believe, too, who just got released by the Cowboys. But I doubt you see him in any capacity outside of like 5 snaps in a pass rush role, where his goal is to just hit the quarterback. But we'll see. If that, yeah. Next we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing host to the Miami Dolphins. It is Tampa Bay -10, coming off an emotional win against Tom Brady's coming off an emotional win against his former team, the New England Patriots. I can't speak English.
Attaboy.
The total is 48 here, but nobody's got any picks here. I just got a quick hitter here. I like Tampa Bay -10. I think they blow Miami out of the water. I don't think Miami's that good this year. I think whatever they had last year was exhausted in a COVID year, and now everything is balanced out, and I just don't see it for them. Another year, another quarterback for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo you real quick. I don't think Tom Brady loses is going to even get close to losing another game for at least another 4 or 5 weeks, because he's just so pissed off losing against the Rams. 2 weeks ago, he's just going to go on an absolute tear. Miami sucks. Jacoby Brissett's their quarterback. Are you kidding me? Jacoby Brissett's your quarterback. Like, cut the bullshit.
Good thing I put him on notable additions.
Yeah, I mean, really notable when he can't win a football game, right? Good
He's
for you.
Starting quarterback.
Yeah, but can he win a football game? No. I mean, the team is awful, and I think the team's is just as bad with Tua, because I think Tua doesn't really make a difference. I think their offensive play calling is absolutely horrific. But that's besides the point. I would go I'm not touching this game because I think Tampa does blow them out of the water, but I know if I touch Tampa -10, they're only going to win by fucking 7.
It's tough. Speaking of starting quarterbacks, Davis Mills hosting Houston Texans against the aforementioned New England Patriots. Look at that! Everything comes full circle. We got New England -9. I can't speak English. Got New England -9. The total is 39.5. And Sammy, it's first time we've heard from you, but on an actual pick. So play the hits, my friend.
Yeah, I'm big on the 4 o'clock slate this week, but yeah. So I mean, despite losing last week, I think a lot of people were very impressed with Mac Jones, and I think he's definitely solid. And Houston is not.
No.
Yeah, we just saw Houston get, what was it, 40 nothing or whatever against Buffalo the other day. And I see Houston is kind of being like a little Jacksonville like last year. Oh, they're gonna win. They win the first game. Like, oh, are they okay? And then no, they're not. They're not good. I don't see Houston be able to score against a good New England defense. And if New England get 21 points, then this is gonna be another ugly game. A lot of ugly games in the early slate, but yeah, give me New England.
I think they can trip over and still end up across the line and get a touchdown here.
Exactly. So
Davis Mills has to play the New England Patriots coming off a pretty bad loss. Maybe not bad, but a pretty tough loss against the rookie quarterback. Like, that's tough.
Listen, I'd be more inclined to take Houston here if I didn't just watch the horrific play calling the past 2 weeks. That Thursday night game when they played Carolina, they did nothing but run the ball and run 1-yard slants. And the same thing happened last week. Granted, it was raining in Buffalo. They did the same thing last week, which kind of really frustrates me, because 2 weeks ago when they played Carolina in Thursday night game, the 2-minute drill, Davis Mills ran a great 2-minute drill. I don't know if anybody was watching. He ran a great 2-minute drill. He was throwing the ball down the field. He was throwing pretty decent passes, but for whatever reason, they're not doing that anymore. So Houston's on my NBL until Tygart comes back.
Yeah, easily. Okay, so next we have the Washington football Washington football team playing host to the New England Patriots.
Manno, start from the top. Run it back.
I have to
Slow it down.
Rewind.
Run it back. Who's playing here?
We have the Washington football team playing home against New Orleans. The New Orleans and wow.
I think you got the yips
Pelicans.
now.
You might have the Pelicans.
Yeah, I got the yips. I'm up 2 insane in my own head right now. We have the Washington football team hosting the New Orleans Saints. The line here is New Orleans Saints -2. The total 44.5. Nick, you have the first pick because I need to take a breath.
Yeah, you definitely need to breathe a little bit over there. Saints are winning by at least a touchdown here. I don't really think it's anywhere close. Washington struggled to hang in with Atlanta, who's got an awful defense. And another thing I'm thinking about, and I don't know if you like to think about this, Manno, but the next game, I think Washington's playing the Kansas City Chiefs at home next game or next week, and maybe they're thinking, oh, let me keep these players healthy. Let me be smart because next week we got a really big game that would be very big for our team. I think Washington's going to play conservative. I think they're going to fall behind early, and I don't think Heineke's going to be able to come back. I think the Saints defense is a lot better than I originally thought. Their offense is a little suspect. Alvin Kamara hasn't really been getting it going in the receiving game, but I think Sean Payton's doing a good job of letting Jameis Winston make smart decisions, not forcing the ball. The Saints probably should have won last week against the Giants. Let's be real. Sure. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. I think Washington's not that good of a football team. I think Washington's defense is a lot worse than it was last year. I have the Saints winning by at least a touchdown here. So give me the Saints. Give me New Orleans -2.
I mean, the New Orleans Saints have a solid offensive line, right? I don't think they allowed a pressure against the Giants last week. That might be indictment against the Giants more than like a gold star against the Saints, but I can see them keeping Washington, kind of in the short game, right? If they can release the ball, right, and kind of attack deep field when they have opportunities, I think that's when Jameis Winston really excels. And that's kind of been the weakness for Washington here. I think New Orleans pretty much trounces Washington, especially in a bounce back game here.
Absolutely.
Cool. So next game we got is Carolina at home against Philly. Carolina -3.5, and the total is 45. I am the only pick here, and I think Carolina. I think they had a pretty impressive showing last week against Dallas, but it was kind of like their show and tell game, right? Their offense kind of showed up, right? Kind of marched a little bit with the Dallas team, showed that defense can kind of stick with it. They lost, but now they get the Philadelphia Eagles, who have not been good, period. So I think 3.5 is probably too small a line here. So give me Carolina by at least like 7 here. I would be pretty easy to foresee this one. Anybody else got a thought?
I like Carolina. I think Philadelphia covers.
You think Philly covers?
I think Philly covers.
Why? You just feeling Philly?
It's just a feeling for me. I think Hurts hasn't really been playing bad as of late. I think it's just going to be offense. It's going to be every other play these teams are going to go at each other. I mean, I like Philly to cover here plus 3.5 for sure.
They don't let Jalen Hurts. Well, I don't know if it's if they don't game plan for Jalen Hurts to really do anything that he's not really comfortable with. So they're not throwing deep balls. They're not really, attacking the field down. Attacking the defense downfield, right? So I feel like you can probably attack the short games, attack the linebackers with Carolina, but they've been such a solid defensive unit this year. In 5 weeks, I'm inclined to think it's more the defense than a blip in the radar. But I guess we shall see. Last 1 o'clock game we have. I'm talking too fast. That's the problem. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars at home the fighting Urban Meyers, if you will, against the Tennessee Titans. We got Tennessee -4, total 48.5. Nobody's got to pick it here. And I don't want to harp on anything Urban Meyer related. So does anybody have any football related?
Skip.
Skip.
No, gun to my head. Tennessee Titans are the pick here against the spread. I think the Jags are just lifeless, pretty much. They just look like they're trying to figure it out, and that's it.
Whatever life that they had, Urban Meyer, just what he did, and his submissive stance against it, not really coming out and like addressing the team or anything like that until like 2 days later. And there was a report, I'm not sure who dropped it, that's basically said that the players laughed him off after he apologized. So, I mean, if they come together and they play for each other as opposed to play for Urban Meyer.
Yep. That's that. Now it's T-Law's team, and that means Jags +4.
Yeah, we'll see. But I mean, I wouldn't be too confident picking that, especially after a hellacious week that we've had so far.
They didn't even have a Monday meeting.
But yeah, he took a separate flight back to, I guess he didn't even go back to Jacksonville. He went to Ohio to his client. Anyway, we don't have to talk to Urban.
Cincinnati is in Ohio. He just didn't take the flight back, and he just partied instead.
Yeah, he partied.
Sammy, you're up, buddy.
Anyways, yeah, next game we got the Raiders and Bears. Raiders home, coming off a loss, tough Monday night loss against the Chicago Bears. They are favored in here though, -5.5. The total is 44.5. And Sam, you got the only pick here, so give me something.
Yeah. So people are kind of freaking out because Justin Fields looked pretty good on Sunday, which he did against we'll call him a subpar Lions defense. Well, let's go back 2 weeks ago to the game against the Browns when they had, 47 yards total offense. I'm not saying it's going to be that dominant of a game, but Vegas, especially like the front four, has been looking solid. So I think if they get pressure on Fields, rattle him early, and this game can get ugly real quick. They can get in his head, force turnovers. Then I love the Raiders' offense. It was a rough game against the Chargers on Monday night, but I still like this Raiders team. So -5.5. It's a little high for my liking. I'd kind of expecting more to be like 4.5, but I still think they can get a touchdown victory. So
yeah, I mean, Chargers have a solid defense in their own right? So it's no the Chargers.
We're talking about the Raiders.
Yeah, I know. So let me finish.
Oh,
remember who they played
Chargers
last week?
They have a solid defense in their own right, and the Raiders struggled against them. See, that's where I was getting to, right? And I don't think it's cakewalk for them to host the Bears, who also have a solid defense. I think if they can iron out the issues that they had against the Chargers and execute against the Bears, then yeah, easily. But I agree, 5.5 is a little steep for my taste. But Sam, big risk, big money.
I don't love it, but I don't know. I think a big bounce back week for Vegas. I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna get
big bounce week.
They're gonna get big pressure on Fields. All right.
Sure. Next pick we got here. We got the Chargers and the Browns. It's Chargers -1.5, and I think this line is where it is because the Browns kind of look like something that is colored brown against the Vikings. Like I said, Chargers -1.5. We have a total of 46.5. 2 picks here for the Chargers and 1 for Cleveland. Sam, I'll let you keep talking though. Hit me with the Cleveland love.
So yes, I'm aware what Cleveland did offensively against the Minnesota Vikings, but I'm also aware of what they've done defensively this entire season. Their defense looks the best in the NFL right now. I mean, total defense, they have by far they're second in total defense, great rushing defense, and that. So, yeah, I think if they have a little better game plan, I think they were sleepwalking a bit against Minnesota offensively. So, Stefanski's going to have a better game plan this weekend for the Chargers. So, and the defense keeps it up, then yeah, I think Cleveland can, win this game.
Stick, you want it or you want me to go?
Two
in?
Chargers picks.
Yeah, why not? All right, so I'm gonna play off of Sam's pick real quick. I can see why you took Cleveland on the road here against the Chargers. Cleveland, very run heavy. Chargers giving up about 460 yards on 90 attempts. So that breaks off to one of two teams in the league that through 4 weeks have given up over 5 yards per carry on the ground. That spells disaster, but I think they're willing to handle it. Not willing to handle it, but I think they can handle it. I think they have the talent to do it. Especially if you're going to game plan against a team that is already missing Jarvis Landry. Odell Beckham has been whatever. Baker Mayfield is banged up. Can't throw the ball extraordinarily well to begin with. I just feel like the Chargers are going to come out on top here. I feel like it's going to be a closer game down the stretch. Both of these teams, I feel like, have the tendency to disappear in the second half. So hopefully they score some points this week and make it a decent game. But that's it. I'm going Chargers -1.5.
So I'm on Chargers -1.5 here. And granted, the Chargers are on back-to-back, or they're on a short week. They just played Monday night, and now they're going to play Sunday. They're both home games, which I don't really. I mean, now you got no traveling. You take a couple of days off, and you're fine. It's like Monday night never happened. Cleveland plays Arizona next week at home, which is a big game. And maybe this is, I've alluded in the, previously in this podcast to where I think, future games and look forward games mean something. Sam highlighted the Raiders defense. The Raiders have a good pass rush. And clearly Los Angeles held up against it last week. Now, granted, Cleveland's pass rush is a lot different than Las Vegas's. I still think they'll do a good job holding it down. The Chargers can come back any day of the week. Herbert threw 3 touchdowns in the first half last week on Monday night. He could do it again. He'll do it again, and he'll do it again. I think Herbert is arguably the second or third best quarterback in the league right now, or can at least have that potential to challenge Mahomes as number one, especially as a young guy. Give me Los Angeles at home. I don't really think it's going to be that close of a game. Cleveland's offense will not be able to keep up. They're going to have to run the ball, and they're going to have to rely on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to run down the clock for them to stay in the game, because who are they going to pass to? OBJ, who hasn't had a decent game all year. Austin Hooper, who had one good year in Atlanta 3 years ago. What else are you going to do? Baker can't hit anybody on a good, accurate throw, and Stefanski is blaming it on his non-throwing. Baker's non-throwing shoulder is sore, and Stefanski's saying it's affecting his accuracy. I mean, as a former 7th grade quarterback, I don't really see how
Nick. As much as I want to agree with you here, look, let's just demonstrate this since we're on video here. So Baker's a righty. He would be throwing with this hand. You go. What do they teach you, Nick? To rip through like that. If this is a shoulder that hurts and you're going like that, I can see why it might not take away from the power, but the accuracy, you feel it there. You got to be perfect as an NFL quarterback. So I'm not with you there. But
I still don't buy it. Give me Chargers -1.5.
Oh, all right.
Very cool.
I never thought I'd get an anatomy lesson and a 7th grade quarterback.
We were talking about this before.
At the same. I know you were. Yeah. That's a little 2 for 1. Different parts of the body everywhere. Sprinkled all over the podcast. Next we have, you guys picks here.
Here we go.
You guys are menaces. We have the Dallas Cowboys.
Good for you for making this pick.
Playing the New York Giants. It is Dallas -7. The total here is 52.5, and we got 2 picks on the Giants. So I don't know which one of you degenerates want to take the first crack at it, but be my guest.
Have at it, Nick. Or Sam, rather.
That's me,
I'm
yeah.
not touching this game.
Sorry, columns got messed up.
I mean, the Giants are 2 dropped balls away from being a 3-1 football team.
And an offsides.
Yeah,
I guess the drop ball. Yeah, no, you're right.
The drop touchdown and the drop interception.
And a better team. They're just a whole better team away from
Nick,
being.
Smile when the Giants are mentioned.
I can't do it, dude.
Daniel Jones looks great. The defense is looking a little better. I think they got think that this win was a big spark for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win this week. But I think 7 points are going to keep this game very close. So simple as that. Just the team's got the mojo going now. Just need that one win to give them a spark.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's going to be a close game. I mean, I don't have it in front of me right now. I probably should have been a little bit more prepared for that, especially on this game. But just off the top of my head, I can't really think back to any Giants-Cowboys game that was more than a 7-point difference between the winning team. I don't think the Giants have gotten blown out by Dallas recently, and the Giants definitely have not blown out Dallas in the last 5 to 10 years. So, I think they're going to keep this close here. And as crazy as this sounds, Kadarius Toney had a pretty good breakout game. Welcome to the NFL. I think it was like 5 for 76. He doesn't deserve it one bit, but Jason Garrett, I'm going to have a little bit of faith, just a sprinkle of faith that he can keep that going and show Toney to the Dallas Cowboys. And after they went out and got CeeDee Lamb last year to kind of fortify that 3-man wide receiver set in Dallas, that the Giants can do the same thing and actually push the football. So they don't need to win. I mean, I would love them to win, but all they got to do is cover. So 7 points on the Giants it is.
Stick, I love you.
Last season, Giants-Cowboys games, in Dallas, Cowboys won 37-34, and in New York, the Giants won 23-19. Yeah.
I feel like if you bring that back a couple of years, like
actually 2019 were both Dallas blowouts.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
those 2 outliers though. The rest of these games are real close.
It's a division game, so the Giants always play the NFC East better than anybody else. I think this is going to be a 10-point game, the whole entire game, and I think the Giants fall short because, okay, so Stick, you highlighted Mr. Jason Garrett making a smart decision last week to make Kadarius Toney a very viable, very focused point of the offense, and now he should capitalize off that, right? He should.
You'd think that he should do that.
You'd think they would do that.
You think he would, but he's gonna shit the bed. It's gonna be the same play calls every single drive, and it's gonna be a waste of time.
You just try to be positive.
No, I can't. I can't try to be positive. I've been a Mets fan my entire life. I don't know how to be positive. Okay, I just know how to be negative and just how to see disappointment. And honestly, I don't expect much. I want to take the Giants +7 here because I think they do keep it close. It's going to be a 10-point game the whole entire time, and then Daniel Jones is going to throw an interception on the last drive. And it's going to break my heart.
You want to hear the crazy part and why Jason Garrett probably doesn't deserve the faith that we're giving him? They only scored 27, 28 points, and 10 of those points or 9 of those points were in the last, 8 minutes of the game. Literally the last 2 drives, the field goal to tie the game. And then
listen, you saw John Ross almost fumble that ball last week. Okay. If he fumbled that ball out of the end zone, that's typical Giants fashion.
But he didn't.
And I'm throwing my car across the state of New Jersey. Like, I'd be so mad. I just don't.
They were a coin flip away from being 0-4. Like, we can call a spade. Like, if they lost that coin flip, they were going to lose the game. And that's a shitty NFL. It's a shitty rule. But like, I mean, rule is that's the rule. I mean,
okay,
God,
please
it's 50-50.
Skip. Get out of this.
No, we gone there. Okay.
Get out of it.
So next we have the Arizona Cardinals, who are, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, the only undefeated team left.
You are correct.
I think you're right.
All right.
You are 100% correct.
They are hosting the San Francisco 49ers, and they are favored by 5.5 points. Total here is 50. Nick, you are the only one with a pick here. Ride the undefeated teams.
I did not believe in the Arizona Cardinals going into the season, and it took me about 3-4 games. Actually, it took me 4 games for me to believe in the Arizona Cardinals. What they did last week against the Rams was pretty impressive, and it is mainly on the defensive side of the football that I am impressed. Last year, the Arizona Cardinals defense was below average and very suspect, and what held them back from being a playoff team last year. Through 4 games, I am convinced that this is a different year. Arizona's offense is redonkulous. AJ Green is a fossil, but has somehow found success in Arizona, especially deep down the field. Granted, they have DeAndre Hopkins, you have Rondale Moore, you have Christian Kirk, AJ Green, Max Williams, who has somehow found some sort of remnants of a career left in Arizona. Chase Edmonds behind Kyler Murray, and also James Conner, who got written off in Pittsburgh. Their offense is full of studs. San Francisco, on the other hand, does not really have a starting running back. Their wide receiving core is a little weird. It's injury prone Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, who has apparently not come to play all season. George Kittle has had a calf issue that's been lingering him the past couple of weeks, and now they have Trey Lance as quarterback, who's going to start his first game of the year on the road against a divisional opponent in an indoor stadium, which I think is going to be loud as hell in Scottsdale, Arizona. You're going to give me less than a touchdown for Arizona here, one of the best teams in the league, if not a top 3 team in the league, especially with offensive firepower. I don't think San Francisco is going to be able to keep up. I'm going to give Arizona at least a 10-point win here. Give me Arizona -5.5 at home.
Ditto.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, Arizona's legit, right?
Arizona is legit.
They're legit.
So
Yeah,
I'm very surprised
I mean, I don't
about
think
it.
anything.
Listen, I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong, because going into this year, I thought Arizona was going to be frauds, and especially after the first couple of weeks, I thought they were frauds. I was all aboard the fraud train, but
No, I'm with you. I think this would have been a make or break year for Cliff Kingsbury if he didn't if he started off slow. I think they would have fired him. But now he's 4-0 and he gets to keep his job for a little bit. But we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But next on the board, we have good game. We got the Chiefs at home in Arrowhead against the Bills. It's KC -2.5, 56.5 is total. Sam, I don't know if did you just sneak that in there?
Yeah, I got rid of my indie pick and decided to throw this in.
Okay, that's no problem. So you just snuck in an over pick. Tell us why.
Because the Kansas City Chiefs cannot stop a nosebleed. The Buffalo Bills, their offense finding mojo after a disappointing week 1, and the Chiefs, their offense is still the same Chiefs offense we've been used to the past few years. Just, I know it's a big total and there's going to be, probably a lot of takes on the under here, but with the Chiefs defense, the Chiefs defense is a legitimate issue right now. I'm not confident in them really making a run again at the Super Bowl this season if this defense doesn't improve a lot. So yeah, I think, both teams can get 30 pretty easily. I think we're going to have something, maybe not quite as many fireworks, but like the Rams Chiefs Monday night game from a couple years ago. We're going to have that kind of vibe, just back and forth all game. And whoever gets the ball last wins here. So yeah, give me chaos. Give me a lot of points.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I mean, if this final score was 75-70, like a Pac-12 freaking college football game, then I would not be surprised, to be completely honest with you. But Stick, you and I have picks on Buffalo. I took the Green Bay Reigns. I'll let you have the Buffalo Reigns. Hit me.
Okay. All right. So I think it was week 2, week 3. Whenever KC played the Ravens, the line was KC -3.5 when we recorded. I looked dead into the camera and what did I say? I said, anytime Patrick Mahomes is within 4 points on the spread, take it. KC is now this week -2.5 at home against the Buffalo Bills. And I'm on Buffalo. I'm not on Patrick Mahomes. And that is a byproduct of KC's defense, who Sam mentioned before, cannot stop a nosebleed.
Not good.
On the other side of the ball, the Buffalo Bills have already came with 2 shutouts in 4 weeks so far. Houston
get once against Davis
and
Mills.
Miami. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but it's 2 just god awful defenses.
However,
I mean,
if you hold an NFL offense to less than just no scores, 0 scores, not even a field goal, literally all you have to do is get the ball to the 35-yard line, snap it back 7 yards, and kick a 52-yarder, and you get 3 points. 2 teams in the NFL could not do that against the Buffalo Bills. Now, that's not going to happen this week because the KC Chiefs are pretty good, obviously, offensively. I just feel like the Bills defense is much better than the Chiefs. I mean, not that I just feel like it. It's the God honest truth. And the Bills offense can really hang with the Chiefs. They're not as good as the Chiefs, but Josh Allen can perform. They're actually somewhat putting in a running game this year, and it's somewhat working. Emmanuel Sanders is finding a role in Buffalo. Josh Allen really likes throwing to him, kind of settling into the number 2 behind Diggs. I think Buffalo can win this game, and I'm going to take the 2.5.
I mean, before we go on, my only scare is Buffalo has had their fair share of cakewalks the first couple weeks. And my only thing that scares me is Kansas City is not a cakewalk. Granted, their defense is a liability.
They've let up 30 points every week.
Okay, Sticken, can you tell me who they played, please?
Cleveland,
run through.
Baltimore, Chargers, and Philly.
Who? Kansas City. No, I don't care about Kansas City. I care about Buffalo. Buffalo's had a cakewalk.
Yeah, Pittsburgh,
Yeah, but
Miami,
they're doing what they're
Washington,
supposed to
Houston.
do against bad teams.
Yes.
You don't want just diminish a 40-0 victory against other professional athletes.
Will not deny that. I absolutely will not deny that. I do think this game is going to come down to a game-winning field goal, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of it. So that's why I'm not touching this game, because I know it's going to. Sammy's got the right idea with the over. I mean, I think honestly, personally, I think the over is so obvious. I want to go under just because I think the over is so obvious here. But hands off, please.
Manny,
I think Buffalo's a better football team than the Kansas City Chiefs are right now. And it mostly comes down to defense for Kansas City. I mean, I don't have to say it a third time. They can't stop a nosebleed, but I will say it a third time. But it's just not good. It's just not good. And we've seen in the past, I mean, I don't want to go back to like a Giants reference here, but like we've seen Steve Spagnuolo when he doesn't have a good defense, when he doesn't have dudes that like don't allow him to do what he wants to do, which is like heavy zone, rush the passer, generate pressure from, all over. If they don't have dudes that can do that, then he's going to get picked apart. And that's kind of what's happened this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo does more of the same and just picks apart Kansas City. But Kansas City's offense is probably good enough to keep them in the game, but hence a 2.5 line. But I like Buffalo here. So last game we got here, Monday night, we have the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Indianapolis Colts. And if you told me, like, I don't know, 5 weeks ago, the last week of the preseason, that this was the Monday night game, week 4 or week 5, I'd be like, hell yeah, it's probably a good game. Those are probably some pretty solid teams fighting for a playoff team, but the Colts stink. So here we are. It's Buffalo -7. And the total here is 46. Nick, you're the only one with a pick, and it is on Indy, and I'm going to call you a maniac and have you explain why you're not.
Okay, so you're going to call me a maniac because
I am.
And I think your reason is going to be the Colt suspect offensive line missing Quentin Nelson, which is valid. Their quarterback is Carson Wentz, which hasn't necessarily had the best career, which is valid, which I will not argue, and I can't go against. I bought the hook. I bought the 7.5, but I'm even comfortable taking 7. I think it's going to be a field goal game. I like Indianapolis here. I really do like Indianapolis here. I think they have a very good chance to possibly even win this game when it comes down to it. I think Baltimore is kind of going to take a step back here and maybe think that Indy's having a really bad year. I'm not going to worry about it too much, bro. It's not that big. Oh my god! But it's going to be a big deal. Okay, I think Indy's got an offensive pass game this year. Whether you believe it or not, I do think they have it between Mo Alley Cox as a tight end. You don't know that name, learn that name. He's like 7'4", 600 pounds. He's a gigantic
Former basketball player.
Yep, he's a gigantic human being. Michael Pittman Jr. is good. Zach Pascal is a great slot inside wide receiver too. And then they also have Paris Campbell, who hasn't really had that much for a year. You have Jonathan Taylor, who put up 100 rushing yards last week. You have Norman Hines, or I call him Norman, but it's Naeem Hines. It's just Norman to me. You got Norman Hines in the backfield. And listen, I get Indianapolis defense hasn't been all that this year. But it's something about Monday night that's talking to me. Peyton Manning actually hit me up a couple days ago and said Colts +7. yeah, if you don't believe me, then just call me out on it because
Yeah. Who am I to doubt you?
Yeah, Colts +7 Monday night. Give me that all day, every day.
All right.
I was on Indy about 10 minutes ago before I decided to switch my last pick to the over Sunday night.
I didn't even notice that.
Thank you, Sam.
I
respect that.
I still kind of believe in that defense a little bit. I think they've, they have some solid guys back there, but
this is an AFC showdown. These are two teams that have something to prove to the league. I think Indianapolis more so than Baltimore, but I think Baltimore has something to prove here. It's going to be a bloodbath. I guarantee you, there's a lot of running in this game.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be close the whole entire time. I mean, that's why the over/under is 46 because Vegas already knows the game script is going to be run the ball, chew the clock, run the ball, chew the clock. And I think Indy can play right into that. Give me Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz knows how to throw a football. Okay. Carson Wentz has a better chance of throwing the football 15 yards downfield than Lamar Jackson, I think, especially because Lamar only has Marquise Hollywood Brown to bust the top off. You keep the top down with Hollywood Brown, I think you're okay.
Keep the top down with Hollywood Brown. I feel that's a good place to end it as ever. So, anybody's got any final thoughts?
Let's go Giants. Third time I'm betting on them. It's week 5.
Yeah, me too.
Good for you guys. I don't have the balls to do that. Because
keep it going. Yeah.
I don't have the Giants win the New England, so.
You think balls is the reason that I have the Giants as a pick and not just utter stupidity?
Could be both. Stupidity comes from the balls. So.
The Giants are scaring me as an overall team. I mean, it's just the New York. It's like betting on the New York Mets. You can never trust anything.
Sure. All right. Well, I think that just about wraps everything up here at the capsON Sports Podcast. You can find us at Stick. I botched this last week, so help me out here. Where are our socials?
Our socials are capsON Sports on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Website capsonsports.com. Pretty much it. Yeah. Okay. Personal socials. You can find us tagged all on that capsON Sports feed. Yeah, somewhere along the line.
Hit the socials. Hit us hard.
Yeah. Hit the action networks. Hit the socials.
Hit the action networks. Hit us. You guys don't think we're taking this? If you don't think we're taking this shit, you're lying to yourself. So just check.
Yeah. Well, that wraps everything up. So until next week, I look forward to hosting you folk again.
No.
No. All right. Later, everybody.